Hi all, welcome to Sweta's Insights channel. Today in this video we are going to continue the part 3 of political science. So today I have preamble, that is the continuation we are going to see. I think we have left with sovereignty in our previous video. If you haven't checked, please go and check the first two videos so that you will not miss the continuation. Let's start. So there is a word in our preamble, that is socialist. Socialist, before knowing that, you have to know what is capitalism. It was the market based system. So its focus was on individualism, that is profit motive, development of one single individual, the private. In a simple manner, we can say that it is a private intervention, more profit oriented, not distributive. Just it's not regarding the distributed profit, it's a profit of one individual, kind of things, which in the west led to huge inequality, large number of poor and few rich. It accumulates large number of poor and few rich. This state of inequality and exploitation led to miserable condition, and this all led to the revolt, right? We have seen Russian revolt, we have seen French revolution, so class struggle, caste struggle. So these kind of things arised out of this thing, that is capitalism. And we have a famous personality talking about this, Karl Marx. He actually condemned this so-called capitalism. And please give it in the comment section who have encouraged capitalism, which economist. Can you comment? Yes. Next, coming to the socialism. Hence, during the Industrial Revolution, there was a call for socialism. Socialism, it's not a profit oriented, but the benefit of all, development of all. The society at the whole is important. This ideology says the society at whole is important, right? There should be society's ownership. The society should be owner, not an individual with profit motive, right? It believed in social and economic equality via social ownership of means of production. So they are asking about, for the socialism, they believed that social as well as economic equality. No one should be deprived of rights because of their class, caste. The opportunity should be equal. There should be no one single businessman or one single profit maker. The profit should be distributed to all. So it happens only through the social ownership, that is a government should take care of this. What is government? We the people are together called, right? So the people at the society level, so it is the ownership, taking the social ownerships, right, for the means of production. They wanted that their people should at least get the basic necessities of life. It also delve into the concept of communalism, everything for everyone concept, right? So basic necessity, at least the basic necessity should be distributed to all. So because it arises at the cause of capitalism, which left the poorer much, poor getting much poorer, rich getting much richer. Why it happens? For example, according to the Karl Marx theory, I don't want to go a very crisp, the exact definition, but what he says is, okay, taking industrial for the example, the profit maker or the industrialist, the capitalist, they hired the laborers and the people who are marginalized, who doesn't have any skill, the skill, maybe basic skills, but they want to work for their at last 3 times of food per day. So they joined for a very basic pay. So this capitalist doesn't have any empathy towards the workers, that he should also give the profit to the workers, as this business is runs solely because of the workers. He doesn't mind about it. He actually gives this profit to the, he is not actually giving this profit, but only profit, he's just squeezing out how as much as he can, the capitalist, right? So the poor is becoming more poor. He doesn't get proper social security benefits. He doesn't have any leave, that is the paid leave. He doesn't have for things, exploited working hours, that is working for 12, 14 hours. This kind of things are making the poor much poorer, health wise deteriorated after he could not do anything, right? The capitalist and keep on getting more profit with by this kind of things. So this is making a very big gap. The that is why this concept of socialism arise, right? So let's go into this. Fabian socialism versus Nehruvian socialism versus communalism. So I mean not communal, but it's communism. So this communism is a concept of Karl Marx. If you take um, so procedure, so what is this? Procedure to bring communism is by violent overthrow of capitalism. See, this communism actually makes a basement for the Naxalism in India. Hope you all know this Naxalism or not. Those regions where you have, the west, the most west areas or the rural side, the people who are not feeling fulfilled by the government, they they often feel that government is a threat against their wants. They feel the communism is not dealt with them, their needs are not fulfilled, the government is exploiting them. These kind of thoughts they have, right? We will discuss about this in internal security concept, other concept, but here we are talking about polity, so we will go through this quickly. So Karl Marx said that violence is the midwife of change or no change with respect to blood. Okay, so in Fabian socialism, they do not want to bring socialism via violent means, but by legislative means. So there is a difference between Fabian socialism and the communism by Karl Marx. The Protestant proletarians protest together, the basic sorry the the people, marginalized people or deprived people come together and fight against, so called we get union kind of things, right? Trade unions, this concept arose in India during those times, right? 1918. So this is the time when Russia was facing the strong opposition, the revolution arose, so that is a strong opposition against the capitalist by the common people. So that is achieving the communism through violence is Karl Marx idea. Fabian socialism is achieving this communism through non-violent means, that is legislative means. So for example, we also had this Fabian socialism, that is land reform brought by government in 1950s. So what is the structure that is talking about? Communists believe that there should be no class or no state, a classless and a stateless society. Fabian socialism believed that socialism has to be there by intermediation of state or a state sponsored socialism. They believed that the transition should be peaceful and gradual. So the transition should be peaceful and gradual, not an immediate thing. Like we don't want state at all. It's an extreme end, right? No state, no intervention, no stateless. It has other implications also. There may be a rise in crime, communal violence. It may pave road for communal violence. The people will have to, go through many things. There may be a increased poverty, still it is a biased decision that stateless society will give you a better life, that will go, reverse, that is backfire again. So this kind of things may happen, right? So Indian socialism, see, actually Fabian socialism says that there should be a state intervention, but in a peaceful and gradual transition. I mean, yes, it is the peaceful transition from capitalism to socialism that requires some intermediation by the state. State is not a capitalist, so they will do something for us, right? The state, right? Okay, next is Indian socialism. It is a type of Fabian socialism, that is state-led socialism is a Fabian socialism which also have similarity with Indian socialism. Socialism in India strives to achieve equality. The constitution aims at making people equal in terms of dignity. Okay, so the constitution is itself guarantees making people equal, right? So there is a Supreme Court case, Samatha versus state of Andhra Pradesh, 1997. In this case, Supreme Court said that socialism in India means reducing inequality in income. So it actually reduces the inequality in income status, providing equality of opportunity and a life of dignity that is given. So this socio-economic rights given in Part 4 of Constitution, DPSP, represents the Indian socialism. So now we have a question that why word socialism was not added during independence, or why did we make socialism explicit via why it came through a amendment. Don't we know socialism is an important for India since right after the independence? Why not that time? And is India was aware about in just 1976 only, not before. So this is the question that arises. Reason for not including me, why the reason is during 1915s when our constitution was being made, the Cold War started during that time. At that point of time, socialism was understood as a communistic socialism. The concept of socialism is understood in a different way. That is, it is a communistic thing. The main proponent of this ideology was the erstwhile Russia, opting for explicitly mentioning socialism would project India's image of being into the erstwhile USSR camp, which was against the idea of leading the NAM non-alignment movement. So India was very much conscious when it was attaining its independence. When it got independence, India was very much conscious that India was, it should not align with, that is non-alignment movement, the policy, non-alignment policy. India will not align with any stand for any nation that may lead to the, colonizing. So again, we may go to the, the past, right? So we were once under the colony of British, but that case should not be the thing. So India has opted for non-alignment. It will not take any stand for any country or nation, but it is in a middle stand. That is, it will not have any sayings or anything. So this is just a protectionist phase that is we have been. Um, so let it is the reason that is clearly given here. USSR, that is Russia, was the profoundly propagating about this socialist idea. So we do not want to explicitly give this idea into the constitution, so that to avoid the the contradiction with the Russia. So we do not want to open anyone to take advantage on us, right? That is the reason. So why it has came in 1970s? During that time, India had bold leaders. In the end of 1960s to 70s, we saw a major step falling in the line of socialism, which led explicitly add. Okay, so major steps has been taken. After that, before that, example making, banking nationalism. That is Narasimhan. Under the government of Narasimhan in 1969, the nationalism has, the banking was nationalized. So nationalizing the banking means the bank will not have monopoly in credit rationing or giving the credit. It will not have any sayings in giving credit to this kind of section only, not to the poor section. So that was actually eliminated. So this is actually an example of socialism. Get my point? By that time, countries were able to differentiate between Fabian socialism and communistic socialism, and hence adding to of socialism explicitly in preamble would not mean India going a USSR camp. So that doesn't mean. So we have known the differentiation, okay, between the communistic socialism versus Fabian socialism. So why did the debate arose? India as a socialistic country has been put into question mark since it adopted the neoliberal model of development based on Washington Consensus in 1990. This Washington Consensus had led to the LPG reforms to India. India agreed to make these reforms. As a result, it doesn't, it was facing a crisis of severe economic recession. So it got some amount of loan. In return, Washington Consensus said that you need not give this back, but still, but you have to do an obligation that please accept this LPG reforms and implement into your nation. So that was the basic idea behind this. So few arguments to prove that India is deviating from its socialistic principle. So what is the few ideas? Since 1990, there is a inclusion in interstate and intrastate disparities. Example, per capita GDP of three rich states in India is three times more in three poorest states in India. So this has been very evident after 1990s. So India is moving towards the capitalistic version, socialist, and then moving towards capitalist after opening up the our economy. So this was the case. Then Oxfam report says 1% of Indians hold 70% of the India's wealth. That is the exact concentration of capitalist, right? Capitalist nature, as we already discussed about Karl Marx sayings. Poverty in terms of deprivation has led to the growth of hunger, and malnutrition was the result. So though the number of people living in absolute poverty has been declined, yet the relative poverty has increased. Poverty increased, but still absolute poverty decreased, right? So effect of this: since 1990s, left-wing extremism has become the biggest internal security threat that I already told about. Naxalites. Evaluate how will, yes, these effects can be seen, but we can't say that government has completely ignored the ideals of socialism. We cannot say that completely government has transformed into this capitalist, leaving the socialist aside. It's not like that. So concept of inclusive growth was inculcated by government in 11th and 12th 5-year plan to fight unemployment and poverty. Even the 6th 5-year plan was regarding the poverty alleviation, right? That is but still we are talking about after 1990, so this will be a good evidence that 11th and 12th we were talking about inclusive growth. Inclusive growth means everyone should get the equal opportunity, which our constitution itself narrates, right? So you will understand this. Now we are just going to see the example, that is PM Kisan. That is 14 crore farmers will be given rupees 2000 every 4 months, which is 6,000 per annum. This is nothing but distribution of income. The government of India has launched several schemes like Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, MNREGA, in which people from villages are given guaranteed employment and fixed wages. Right to food, right to education. These act ensures the inclusive development. So farmers are the backbone of our, see, agriculture was a backbone of the country, because most of the people, the laborers are engaged in agriculture sector. So for this cause, they should be encouraged with the decent incentives. So they are given 2000 for every 4 month, per annum they are given 6,000. So this is the distribution of income. So it comes under the socialist concept, right, if you think it in way. So MNREGA, that is guaranteed employment wage. So for 100 days, anyone who doesn't have job, they can come and join this MNREGA. So we have fixed wages, and we also have Equal Wages Act 39D, that is DPSP talks about it. So these kind of things guarantees us. So that is actually India is still being a socialist, but there is a bottleneck in this implementation. I have seen in news that some states from northeast and as well as south, this targeted distribution or targeted benefit 6,000 per annum for farmers is not met properly or regularly. There is some bottlenecks. There is some the glitches in implementing this. It is not actually flowing correctly. So these kind of issues are there. We will research it later. Now we are on polity. So financial inclusion to bring more people under social security net with minimum leakages, right? Government has brought Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity, right? Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile. So this will ensure the financial inclusion. So it is, ensuring this Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity. So conclusion, so in a country like India with second largest number of poor, socialism will always remain relevant. So we cannot, anytime, whatever the transition we have faced in future, socialism will never go disappear, right? Is India a socialistic state, liberal state, welfare state? What it is? So India is actually a welfare state, so we will just see this welfare. It has more oriented than liberal than socialist. So we will talk about secular now, right? Secular. So now we are going to talk about secular. Secular means India doesn't have any one single religion, no religion status, right? So we don't have any one particular religion as a state identity. Freedom of religion, freedom to practice, freedom to profess and freedom to propagate their religion irrespective of the religion they belong to. Secularism and nature of Indian state. St. Xavier College versus State of Gujarat, 1974, there is a case. Indian state has no religion. State is neither anti-God or pro-God. That is state doesn't take any stand on this. Whenever the state will be taking any decision, see, of course, state will intervene in this religion matter, but not into the personal affairs of the people, but to avoid the violence on between the people. So that is the only motto. Otherwise, the things will be secular. People can follow whatever the religion they want. Indian state has no religion. State is neither anti, so we have seen this. So yes, whenever the state will be taking any decision, it has to be on the pure rational basis, not on any targeted religion basis. It should be a rational basis. God is eliminated from the matters of state. Whether a person is a devotee, agnostic or atheist, state should consider all of them are equal. There should be no expectation by the government to the citizen that he should be a devotee, he should be a devotee of this god, he should be antagonist. So they are not like this. Everyone is treated equal in the eyes of law, right? So why there is a question towards secular nature of India? Since 1990s, there is a growth in communal violence around the world, and India is not an exception. There has been an incidence of communal violence in the country. At times, there have been allegations against the authorities, especially the law enforcement agencies, that they have not obeyed their obligation of holding India a secular India. So why it is? The main evidence to prove the rising of communal violence is the previous government is trying to bring communal violence bill. It's also true that Muslims, which are the largest minority in India, continues to be the most backward community. Sachar committee report. So this thing is actually evident about the communal implications towards, right? So why we are more striving towards this? So there is a communal violence. There is a communal violence bill. So we are striving to go towards secularism. India being a diverse country need to be strengthened its secular character. Hence the government has started various scheme. What is the scheme? Nairoshini for women. That is I think it is for SC/ST women to get upliftment or for their employment, I guess. This scheme upgrading the skills of training in traditional arts and craft development Ustad scheme, educational upliftment, Maulana Azad National Fellowship, this kind of things, Nayudan, Siko or Kamo initiative. This will ensure the secular growth in education, so caste, social, economic, skill, economic. So these are all ensured. So let's go for this. There is a need to strengthen the powers of watchdog bodies like National Commission for Minorities, National Human Rights Commission, 1992. So now talking about democracy, procedural democracy, substantive democracy, we have this. Procedural, following the procedures of democracy, that is election. Substantive, that is followed by Western countries. Okay. We are following the representative democracy with a free and fair election system. Under an autonomous election commission, India has also tried to introduce direct democracy at the level of Gram Sabha. Though India is a perfect example of democratic governance in third world, right? However, in comparison to Western countries, India is a procedural democracy rather than substantive. But when in context of procedural democracy, there are many problems. Okay. Criminalization of politics. Procedural democracy have these bottlenecks. Criminalization of politics, use of muscle and money power, right? So hence there is an urgent need for electoral reforms to address the issue of criminalization of politics. Efforts by Supreme Court and Election Commission. Supreme Court along with ECI, that is Election Commission, and civil society have tried to limit the factor of muscle and money power. Example, Lily Thomas case has struck down the section 8. I think this year is something wrong. I'll just check it. Okay, struck down section 8(4) of RPA Act 1951 by virtue of striking down. This provision was actually struck down. Lal Prasad Yadav was jailed. Earlier, there was no disqualification with immediate effect until the disposal of the appeal. Okay, so this is the case. Efforts by government. Government introduced right to information, citizens charter, and social auditing. So republic. So what is republic? The head of the state is elected by people. it's opposed to monarchy as the head of the state, is unlike British, right? So is not elected by hereditary basis for lifetime. Head is not a hereditary basis, but he is directly or indirectly elected for a fixed tenure. Political order, it is a political order in which supreme power lies in the body of citizens, right? This will the will of the people in the basis of the governance. Public offices are thrown open to all the citizens. So through this we could ensure the republic. Okay, the supreme power lies in the body of citizens. Okay, this is the concept. Will of the people is the basis of all, that is governance. So what is the justice? John Rawls, actually this is not Roll, this is Rawls. He has talked about justice is the first virtue of social system. Okay, what is the first virtue of social system? It is justice, as the truth is the first virtue of the system of thought. No state can exist that people perceive as unjust. Okay, preamble explains the idea of justice found in the Constitution of India. Its comprehensive idea of justice. So what is social in India? Social justice, I mean, there is three type of justice. We have social justice, economic justice, and political justice. So what is social justice? It is when the government prohibits discrimination on the basis of caste, gender, color, race, religion, that is called as social justice is provide equality. It does not only prohibit the discrimination, also provides affirmative action towards weaker section. It also protects the weaker section, right? This should be noted. Now we have economic, that is DPSP, especially Article 39B, 39C aims to reduce inequality of income and wealth, and they try to achieve aim of equitable distribution of resources. 39B, 39C ensures that there should not be a concentration of wealth on one single person. It should be equitably distributed. Other provisions like right to adequate wages and right to work, it also mentioned in DPSP. For example, Rega, the state is promoting this. There is an education promotion having a compulsory education rights and economic interest of SC/STs to raise the level of nutrition. These are all contained in DPSP. So these kind of things, sir, ensures the economic justice, right? This are in the part 4, that is DPSP. Then we have political universal adult franchise. The thing we had is before 1947, those early days of British, people were not given the equal or adequate universal franchise, that is based upon their income, based upon the status, based upon the wealth they have, they are given the voting rights. But after sometimes it is given that they are after adopting by Switzerland, some other states pioneered this concept. I mean, talking about women, the most deprived of this electoral franchise, political franchise. Now we have independent election commission, reservation for weaker section like SC/ST in parliament, assembly, and reservation of seats for women. All the three levels of panchayat are nothing but the example of political justice. So it's a divisible idea, though mentioned separately, yet justice form an integrated idea. One cannot be achieved with respect to other. Okay. So it's an integrated, not a separate thing. So for liberty, we have liberty of thought, expression, faith, worship. It has been taken from French Revolution. So the Article 25, 26 guarantees this. Equality, there is a separate fundamental rights called equality. We have Article 14 to 18. So you will check in fundamental rights. So fraternity is the brotherhood, that is fundamental duty. 51A guarantees this. Means the spirit of brotherhood. It's the most hollow concept of today's society. It is the biggest goal ever written. It prescribes for the spirit of psychological and emotional unity. It talks about one common citizenship, the feeling of being an Indian. First is the nature of Indian fraternity. There can be differences but no division. So there is a cases arised among this, that is Supreme Court has struck down. The National Commission has intervened in one case about I have forgot the name of the person. I guess it is in Gujarat. The Human Rights Commission, not India, but the International Forum for Human Rights, right? I'm not sure with the word, but Human Rights Commission. It has intervened in the citizenship amendment case, but we have took a strong stand against this, but because it is a it affects the sovereignty. When international organization interferes into this matter, it affects the sovereignty of India. So we strictly eliminated this concept, that you have to remember. But I will make sure which case is that. I have forget it is. I'll just check with you. I'll check with this, and you know I will I will clarify this later. I'll confirm. It talks about one common citizenship. The feeling of being an Indian first is the nature of Indian fraternity. There can be differences but no divisions. So dignity, that is mentioned in Article 17, the abolition of untouchability should be abolished, right? So what is the date we have adopted the constitution? Date of adoption 26, I mean the absolute resolution we have adopted 26 November. Sorry, it is yes, November, right, 1946. And during the commencement of constitution or enforcement mentioned with respect to, so article, there is no article under the constitution. So I will just clarify this later. Don't read this, okay? Just see this. President gives assent to this. Date of adoption or enactment. I don't think so. The enactment is given wrongly, because 1949, this was the date when we adopted the constitution, not absolute, I mean objective resolution. That is 22nd January 1946, or yes, it is 46, but not other thing. So this is, be please clear about the dates. This is something given wrong. So I hope this session is very good. It went well. So if you have any doubts, please drop in the comment section. I will clarify at my free time. So please stay tuned for the next part. Until then, this is bye from Sweta's Insights. Thank you.